What's up, guys? Sean Don. Week 4, that's right. I made it a whole month, a whole training cycle, doing these weekly vlogs for you guys to see what I've been up to. And I'm starting to figure out a routine. Things are getting a little bit easier. So yeah, as far as I know, I'm going to continue with this for the foreseeable future. It's not too hard. I do need to get my camera fixed at some point, so there may be a delay eventually. But for now, things are going good. So this is my final week of the program. You could call it a taper, a deload, something like that. I don't know. I kind of call it a taper, but I didn't really taper too much because I've kind of been taking a lot of time off because of traveling and living life, and it's the off season, so I'm really not too worried about being super strict on that stuff. And as you guys will see later in the video, it seemed to work out good. So yeah, day 1, Monday here. This is my first full week back in Chula Vista. I spent Sunday literally 12 hours in a car driving back from Zion National Park, and it was yeah, 12 hours in a car. Need I say more? So throwing didn't feel great. No, I take that back. Throwing on Monday, I mean, while it didn't feel great, as you can see, it's a little sloppy, but physically I felt pretty prime. I was actually through a program best 77 meters with the 6K. But outside of that, technique was a little sloppy. So, yeah. The weight room, once again, feeling pretty decent. I think mostly 60% stuff this week. I think Wednesday was an 80% day, as you guys will see later on. If you saw my little faux pas with loading that bar, make sure you, like I said, measure once. Measure twice, cut once. That's what it is. I can speak. Yeah. Pendlay rows, once again, busting out reps at a weight that previously kicked my ass. But back's feeling strong, legs are feeling strong. The whole goal of this first program, this program 0, is to just get me prepared for the actual first training program, which will start well, tomorrow by the time I release this. So yeah, and I mean, once again, I'm definitely feeling very generally fit, very in shape, cardiovascularly pretty solid, and then also strength-wise feeling pretty good. I mean, I'd say I'm probably 4 or 5 months ahead of where I normally am, just doing some different stuff, and yeah, it's been really good. Tuesday, though, I felt like a hot bag of garbage during throwing, like really sore. Like I said, I'd taken like 4 days off. My obliques were actually sore from throwing, which is like rarely happens. You can see just the frustration in my technique and in my feeling, and doing my best to hold it together. I think this day, I don't think I threw anything over like past like 70 meters, 65 meters even. Yeah, things just weren't feeling very good. Towards the end of this practice, I started to figure it out. So like that was a close throw. But these last 2 throws, I focused on keeping my hands up and keeping the ball up in entry. And as you can see, it looks a lot more natural. Orbit shifts less. And yeah, so I'll come back to that later in the video. But yeah, that was a little tip I got from Powell Fidek. And yeah, so I figured I'd try it out now that it's the off season. I did it a little bit last year, and it just didn't really click. But now that I'm a little bit more raw and I forgot some of my bad habits, things feel better. And yeah, excited to keep playing around with that. This is day 2 lifting, conditioning again. Cut volume in half compared to last week, which was pretty cool. It was nice to pump this out. I only took 3 minutes rest as opposed to 5 minutes rest in between the 2 circuits. And yeah, felt good to just kind of get after it these days. I mean, I don't know, I'm at a loss for words, but yeah, just felt good to get after it, break a sweat, pump out some reps. I kind of enjoy this stuff now. I mean, I don't look forward to it, but kind of just like tuning out, feeling your breath, feeling the rhythm of your breathing, and just pumping out the reps. There's something to that. I know Joe Rogan, he talks about like Sober October last year, they were working out so hard that you kind of quiet that mental chatter in your brain. And yeah, it's nice to take like 40-45 minutes and just bust out some, I guess, cardio tempo stuff. And yeah, good mental release. I've always been a big weight room guy, so like doing any sort of lifting, any sort of conditioning, really helps out my mental health. It's kind of meditative for me in a way, as weird as that sounds, which is I think probably why I enjoy training so much, because it is like a mental release for me. Throwing, especially when I have a nice throwing day by myself, it's super meditative, super calming. I just kind of, let my monkey brain just kind of run its course, and usually work out some problems and feel a little bit better about life by the time I'm done. So this is day 3, Wednesday. Like I said, this is my 80% day, 70 pounds, 5x4 on the Z press. These split squats weren't too hard. As you can see, I'm using a handhold now just for balance. Feeling my glutes firing pretty well. And the Z press was a bit tough. It's a weird position for me. My hamstrings are very tight, so it's hard for me to sit like that and then press overhead. It takes a lot of core strength, which I guess is good. And pull-ups, compared to last week, felt much better. That little pause in there, I'm trying to do them as strict as possible. I don't want to use my my legs or that bend in my arms too much. I'm trying to get that full extension at the bottom. And then, I finished up with the shoulder stuff, lateral raise, reverse flies, and back extension, which you guys don't see. But like I said, once again, cutting volume. This is a lower volume week, kind of a down week, if you will. But I guess it's kind of the same as week 1, but, it's all relative, I guess. Thursday, happy Halloween, you spooky sons of bitches. Today was a pretty short practice. Like I said, as you guys can see, only 6 throws. I'm tapering, so like I said, kind of recovery for my slam session that's coming up the following day, which is pretty typical. Since it's early, I might, taper a little bit more in season, since I'm usually doing a little bit more volume and a little bit more intensity. But like literally one day of cutting volume a little bit, and my body responds pretty well. But yeah, this whole practice, I was just focusing on keeping the hands up, keeping that ball up in the entries. You guys can see, if you go back and look at the first day of the week compared to today, the entry is much different. My left side's holding much better, my orbit shifts much less, my hips are much more connected to the ball, all around a win-win. So keeping that up for as long as I can. With the 6K, it's pretty easy. I'm going to the 14-pound next cycle, it'll be a little bit harder, and then from there, as I keep working up in weight, it's just going to get a little bit harder and harder. So hopefully going nice and slow with those weight increases will help that stick, because so far so good. I really like it. And yeah, and then day 4, conditioning, same thing. Dragon sleds, which is probably my least favorite of all the conditioning, but then also following that is the row, which is probably my favorite. Once again, the rhythm of the breathing and the rowing, the whole movement, and then you got John Jones and Brian Williams and Tunde being clowns on camera. But yeah, the rhythm of my breathing with the rowing movement, I don't know, it's really, I really enjoy it. I really get to tune into my breathing, and it's nice. If you guys don't enjoy breathing, try meditating, doing that some more. It's pretty good for you. Yeah, band pull aparts, Swiss ball rollout, pretty standard stuff here. Nothing crazy. Once again, this volume is lower than it was last week, and like I said, just a down week in general. So really not much else to say here. I should probably edit this out, but I will not, because who cares? None of it matters. But yeah, so preparing for Friday slam session right here. Yeah, so at the end of every program I have a slam session. This is essentially a test, if you will, a max out for my throwing, just to see where I'm at, because I like to take the off season. Honestly, I'd say about 80% of my programs, or 80% of my throws across the entire year, are relatively easy to moderate intensity. I really don't take too many high intensity throws anymore, when I used to just treat every session as like a, go as hard as you can, because I thought that's what you needed to do. But now, when I'm at this level, I've learned that it's much more about, kind of learning to walk before you can run. So if I am making a technical change, I try to do it at a lower intensity and then slowly work up and groove it in over time, rather than just go balls to the wall from the start. So that's a lesson for all you kids out there. I put these progressive turn videos back in for the first time since I think like day 1 or week 1, sorry. And as you can see, I am much more stable, I'm much more fluid, my hips are much more connected to the ball, I'm a little bit deeper in the legs. Yeah, with keeping my hands up, I look a little tight, but that'll come with time, that looseness will come back. But overall, much more stable in these, which is kind of the goal. That, like I said, I'm much more in the center, and things are just better. And then, yeah, getting into the full throws. I only took 4 5 turns and 4 4 turns because that's all I felt I needed. Right from the start, I was already throwing just about as far as I had the rest of the program. Like I said, I think that first throw was like 72. This was like 76.50, which up until this week was my program best. But really just thinking easy entry on these 5 turns, easy through the first 2 turns, and then 3, 4, 5 I think about working a little bit more. But ultimately, I'm just trying to let the ball accelerate as much as possible. And this is my last 5 turn. Felt really solid, very connected with the lower body, very relaxed with the upper body. Yeah, and then the 4 turns didn't feel quite as good. I don't have that 4-turn rhythm down, the winds, the entry, all that stuff for 4 turns. I don't have that stuff down yet. That's why the 5 turns felt a little bit crispier. These 4 turns were a little bit sloppier. But yeah, so like I said, the whole goal of this whole program was to just get in the best general shape I've ever been at the start of a training year, and that is exactly what happened. So once again, physically, generally in the weight room, definitely there, especially with how inconsistent this training has been with, like I said, just life and travel and stuff. But yeah, so I was really happy with that. And yeah, and then even weight room on Friday, once again, most of the stuff was 60%. I pushed the accessory stuff a little bit harder for the first time all program because, yeah, it's the end of the program, and I've taken Saturday off, taking Sunday off, and then getting back to it on Monday with a new program. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see more of. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to keep this up. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got for you. Like I said, very good result for my first program of the year, or technically program 0, whatever you want to call it. So, yep, thanks for watching. Sean Don, peace and out until next week.